A Sauce Gardner extension for the New York Jets is incoming, as another move is also on the way, as Darren Mougey and the New York Jets are ready to make their big off-season moves that's going to have a huge impact on the New York Jets' future, and we're going to break it all down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Jets Digest. It's Chris and Matt here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. And if you guys are part of that 70% that's not subscribed to Jets Digest, make sure to subscribe right now. Thank you for 5K. Let's jump into the video. We have a lot to discuss on the New York Jets. As Sauce Gardner, the extension is incoming. Jets fans have been waiting for this moment all offseason when it became evidently clear that Sauce Gardner would be getting an extension with the New York Jets. And now we just got a massive update on that front. As revealed by Connor Hughes, Jets cornerback Sauce Gardner is in attendance for the offseason program, which is noteworthy. Most in his situation would stay away until they get a new deal, and Gardner is continuing to show his commitment to the team. This commitment to the team is obviously not new for Gardner. As Sauce Gardner directly said a couple months back, I definitely want to be a part of the solution when it comes to turning this organization around, getting us to the playoffs, and getting to the Super Bowl. So I'm definitely going to be better next season. Sauce definitely did have a bit of a letdown year this season, Matt. I mean, not the same player that he was the years prior, but it doesn't feel like he's really losing himself or anything. It more just sort of feels like the Jets were just dealing with adversity. Sauce Gardner was fighting through an injury. He openly admitted to that, and he said that it was just a tough year for him and things were complicated. Not as good as the prior 2 years. Wasn't an all-pro, but still an excellent cornerback in the 15 games that he played. Got an interception, defended 9 passes, or deflected 9 passes. He had a good season still, just not the same season that we're used to. But all this being said, he's going to get the biggest contract in cornerback history and defensive back history.
So a lot of people like to forget the fact that Sauce Gardner still was a good corner this year. He just wasn't the best corner in football, and that's for some reason something to rag on him for. But in a world where it is becoming more and more common for players to hold out, whether it's in the NFL looking for a big contract or even what we're seeing in college right now, guys are holding out for contract with NIL. As the money gets bigger, it just becomes financially smarter to not take that risk for injury. We know Sauce Gardner's his contract is going to be 28 to like $32 million per year in that range. So he doesn't want to show up at an offseason training thing and hurt himself, but he still did because he's committed to bettering himself. He's committed to bettering the team. Every time there's been rumors about Sauce Gardner being unhappy or being on the trade block or being available, he has always stepped up on Twitter to dispel those rumors, which is the exact type of attitude we need from all of our players in the locker room. So we know they absolutely want to be here through the good times and through the bad times. Unfortunately, being New York Jets fans, a lot of the time it's the bad time, but that's why we need a guy like Sauce Gardner to put the best foot forward for the entire team. At the end of that Connor Hughes tweet, we saw how he said these are the types of guys you want to build around, and he's absolutely right. Sauce Gardner is the perfect type of player to build around for the New York Jets, not only because of how good he is when he plays football, but also the resiliency and the leadership that he shows off of the football field.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal for the Jets with everything he's done. The intangibles are off the charts as well. He really does embody everything you want out of one of your franchise superstars and faces of your team. Gardner, made it very clear he's going to be with the Jets throughout his prime. Excellent sign for the Jets. Just looking at the way Sauce Gardner has played through his NFL career, he's been one of the greatest cornerbacks of all time, or at least is on track to do so. In a fun tweet that is now up on the screen, as you could see, as said here by Pierce Conboy, it was inevitable that he would move on from run stops with his fun charts and throw some darts at coverage stats. And if you check it out and just look at everything here, the bottom left is the best area that you could be in. And the bottom left, it's essentially the yards you're allowing per pass, the receptions you're allowing per pass, and the higher up, like usually when charts go up, it's positive, but in this connotation, it's negative. Sauce Gardner is in the best possible spot, which is the bottom left. He's in front of guys such as Darrelle Revis, Richard Sherman, Sam Madison, and Chris McAllister. So truly one of the great cornerbacks of all time to start his career, or is on track to be one of the great cornerbacks of all time. The Jets are going to have to pay him a lot of money, but it's going to be worth it. And he's just part of their future, and that it makes sense for them to give him as much money as he requires within reason. And on top of that, there's another guy who that same sentiment kind of It's the same sentiment with another guy right here. We know who it is. Garrett Wilson, who, as Hughes mentioned, is also in attendance. He's eligible for a contract extension too. Few would fault either of these two for skipping as they look for the new deal. Matt, as you mentioned, very important for financial reasons to maybe hold out, and they're both there. And Connor Hughes says he thinks that says a lot. And also, same thing, to reiterate, these are the guys that you build around. Garrett Wilson has also been phenomenal for the Jets through a ton of adversity throughout his career, not just last season. I mean, the man's had multiple different quarterbacks throughout these 3 years in the NFL. He's had no stability at that position. The best quarterback he had was Aaron Rodgers, who he just did not get along with. In all this time, I mean, he had 154 targets last year, got 101 receptions. First year that he's had over 100 receptions, had 1,104 yards last year, 11 yards per reception, that is. He was a phenomenal wide receiver last year and has been for a while, but this year having at least somewhat of a competent quarterback in Rodgers, he was able to get 7 touchdowns, which has literally doubled his career touchdowns. So basically having Justin Fields now when he's going to be the number one target, the same way that we saw that Garrett Wilson, and honestly, in my opinion, rightfully so, was upset about the fact that at the end of the day, it felt like he was just never being favored because Devontae Adams was there, and that's who Rodgers was looking for basically all the time. Now, Garrett Wilson gets that with Justin Fields. He gets to be the number one guy who Justin Fields is always going to look to get the ball to because he knows him well. He knows who he is as a player and a person. This is a perfect situation for Garrett Wilson to have another great year. And on top of that, he's going to be locking up a long-term future with the Jets as the Jets franchise player right now. And it's all good news right now, Matt. It's all good stuff.
Yeah, so Garrett Wilson, like you said, finally gets a quarterback. This is the same quarterback who gave DJ Moore his career highs in yards and touchdowns in 2023 when he put up 1,364 yards and 8 touchdowns. I think Garrett Wilson is at least as good as DJ Moore, so we can expect some huge numbers out of our wide receiver one this season. The one thing I'm just a little bit confused about is why these guys aren't signed yet. Like, yes, it's great to see them at the offseason activities. We really want to see them there. It is a stark differential from what we got with the offseason activities last season, where all the news was just how some guys weren't there. Aaron Rodgers was in Egypt instead of at the offseason events, and definitely moving forward in a better direction where our young players, our best players, are in the building, even though they don't have that contract insulation yet. I really want to see these deals get done. Maybe they aren't signed yet because the team wants to have the most flexibility possible to be able to move one of these players if they wanted to move them. Obviously, we don't want to see either one of these guys moved, but that has to be the only explanation why the deals aren't signed yet. If I was the GM, I definitely would have signed Sauce before his draft classmate Derek Stingley got signed, because once those guys got signed, Sauce Gardner got even more expensive if you're going to pay him the market resetting deal. And if I'm Sauce Gardner and the team comes to me and says, we are not going to be offering you a market resetting deal, I would just be like, what are you talking about? Like, the first cornerback ever to be a first team All Pro in his first 2 seasons. Like, what are you saying? Like, definitely. That's what I deserve. I know some people disagree with that, but Sauce Gardner definitely deserves it. Now, whether he gets paid that or not, that's yet to be seen. Garrett Wilson, I think he's the contract that you can wait on a little bit more, although out of respect to the player, I would like to see him get paid as early as possible. But he's not a guy that we kind of know where his number is going to be. It's going to be in that $28 million range. It's not going to be affected by more players signing contract extensions the same way Sauce Gardner would be. So with Garrett Wilson, I understand a little bit of the weight, but I'm urging Darren, Mougey, and Aaron Glenn, get these guys signed. Let's get our guys under contract long-term and start focusing on stuff on the field and stop talking about stuff off the field.
I agree, and I 100% agree with just the idea of, well, first of all, Sauce he deserves a market resetting contract. I think if he gets offered one that's not that, he'd probably just laugh at Darren Mougey and be like, all right, good one. Give me the real contract now. What the hell is happening? Well, his agent is just throwing up all over Darren Mougey's office or something. On top of that, I agree with you on Garrett Wilson. Sign him to just show him out of respect. Like, I get Darren Mougey didn't draft him. I get Aaron Glenn has never coached him. But you know what he can do, so that doesn't matter whatsoever. You pay these guys. You let them know that they are as big of parts of the future as any member of the New York Jets is, because these are the 2 biggest parts of the Jets' future. It's the best, probably their best defender in Sauce, And on top of that, certainly their best offensive player in Garrett Wilson. It's not even remote. Like, it's not even remotely close who the best player on the offense is. It's there's Garrett Wilson and everyone else. And I get Breece Hall is great. I'm not saying he's not great, but there's a difference between Garrett Wilson and anyone else on the Jets offense. You pay these guys, you show them the respect that they deserve. Now, the one thing is that Darren Mougey has been pretty open about the fact that he wants to get through the draft before worrying about these contract extensions. I do disagree with that because, I mean, as you mentioned, the whole Stingley situation, that was an avoidable situation that the Jets just didn't avoid, which is insane. Like, when you have statistically this record-breaking cornerback, sign him before the guy picked right before him. Like, just... It felt like Darren Mougey made a misstep right there with not doing that. I mean, that being said, he's new to the GM thing, so we're not gonna go setting off fire alarms, but not his best moment as the Jets GM to let that one slip through his hands. But I do think that things are going to work out. I think they're going to sign them both probably soon after the draft. I think that's a big reason why they're here right now is they know that once that draft is over in 10-ish days from now, which is that 10 days from now is day 2, is day 3, so 10, 11 days from now, a week and a half, those contract extensions, it's going to happen, is my guess.
Yeah, and there could be contract discussions being held behind the scenes that we don't know about, which is always a possibility. Hopefully that is what's happening because, like we said before, we definitely want to get both these guys signed, and they got to be the staples of the offense and the defense for the next 8 to 10 years for the New York Jets.
And for the next 8 to 10 years, we're going to be talking about it. So, guys, make sure to subscribe to Jets Digest. Like this video, turn on post notifications. Matt's got a cool sweater. Have a great day, and go Jets. Almost said go Knicks.